John had $2,000 and Peter had $3,000. John spent 30% of his money and Peter spent 60% of his money. Who had more money left and how many percent more? So for this question, we are interested in the difference between both of their leftover monies. Okay, so this is what we can do first. We can first find out how much did each person spend. So we know that each person have different initial amount of money. Okay, so based on what their spend percentage is provided here. So John spent 30% of his money. So he originally had $2,000. So 30% of $2,000, simply I take 30%, put it as a fraction, multiply by his original 2,000. And this will give us $600. That's the amount that he has spent. And we're going to find out how much is John left with after his spending. So simply 2,000 minus away his spending amount. Okay, and we're going to do the same thing for Peter. So Peter has 3,000 at first, but he spends away 60% of his money. So what he spends would be 60% multiplied by his $3,000 at first. So he spent this much. Okay, so now I can find out how much is Peter left with by using his $3,000, taking away what he has spent. All right. And now we can clearly find the difference of who had more money left. Now, in fact, you need two parts to this question. Who had more money left? Is it John or Peter? Okay, so if you look at John and Peter, of course, I can see that John has more money left. So that's the first answer you have to give. And the second part asks, how many percent more? Okay, so when they ask for how many percent more, means I want the difference. Okay, John has how much money more left than Peter. All right, so that's what we are working towards too. So I will need the difference in their leftover first, which is by taking 1,400 minus away 1,200. So the difference between both of their leftovers is $200. Now, next is how do I convert or how do I translate this to a fraction, to a percentage? Okay, so first thing first, do not worry about percentage first. Think about how you're going to express this difference as a fraction first. Okay, so to decide that, we need to first understand, all right, where does the difference go to? So our difference goes to the numerator. This is how we create the fraction first. So creating this fraction is important because without this fraction, you can't really change it to a percentage subsequently. Okay, so the difference, of course, has to be the numerator. Now, what about the denominator? Okay, so this is the tricky part. A lot of you tell me, say, denominator will be like the total. Okay, you tell me total will be, I add up this two. No, that's not true. Okay, because this question about percent more, we are talking about a percentage comparison between the two guys. So the denominator here has to be at least one of the person's money, in this case, the leftover money. But whose one do we use? Okay, so typically how we understand this question, okay, look at the word more than who? Okay, this is the thing to take note of. How many percent more than who? So obviously we can tell John left more than Peter's left. All right, so this will be more than Peter. So why I say this is important is because based on the English sentence structure here, whoever is appearing after the word more than, okay, or even if this word is less than, it doesn't matter if it's more than less than, whoever appears at the back of the after the word then, all right, that person goes to your denominator because we are using that person as the basis of comparison in this case, in the fraction here. So Peter's leftover goes to the denominator. All right, and be careful, this will not be Peter's original money. In fact, it's his leftover money because we're talking about the difference in the leftover. All right, so nothing to do with original money here. So our fraction, let's go on to create it, 200 over Peter's left, which is 1,200. All right, so once you have your fraction created, All right, no issues. To convert it to percentage, you just simply times 100%. Now, when you key into your calculator for this, you should get a really long answer. All right. So if I'm not wrong, you will get like a 16.66666. It's like a recurring decimal which doesn't seem to stop. Okay, so yeah, 16.6666%. All right. So please do not write that whole entire decimal down. And also please do not round off the decimal because the question did not ask you to round off. You only round off if the question instructs you to do so. Okay, so if the question didn't instruct you to round off whatsoever, you should always express your answer in the most accurate form. And of course, in this case, your most accurate form is to write it as a fraction, more specifically as a mixed number. How do I get this mixed number? On your calculator, you have this SD function. You can press Shift SD, two buttons, Shift then SD, and it will automatically change that decimal to a mixed number. All right, so this is your percentage.